All right, and good morning, and welcome to this live version of what we call here at Truly uh, a mental makeover. And this is our first time actually doing this like live in the studio. And this is just a inspired uh, session that I'm doing because I was in the middle of my morning success ritual, my quiet time, my meditation, whatever you call it. I was spending time preparing myself for today and reminding myself of of who I am and reminding myself of what's available to me. Right? It's not all about my ability to make things happen, but it's about my awareness that I live in a friendly universe. I live in a space that there is so much to who we are than what meets the eye, than what we can see. But behind all of us and within all of us is this unlimited capacity to um, to discover, to decide for, to design, to create, um, to have whatever experience that you desire to have. I mean, all of us have that universal freedom to take this thing called life, right, and make it uh, make it an experience that not only blesses you but blesses so many others. So, out of that inspired moment this morning in my meditation, and I was so hit with this idea that I wanted to get on here live and share. Right, for before I talk myself out of it, so I just came over here, hit the button. I said, "Let's go." So this is unscripted, right? This is unscripted, and the reason I wanted to share this is because, first of all, I made a post this morning. And for those that follow me on social media, you may have already read it and you may not. But I made a post this morning and I want to share it because it came out of this post that I made. And this post came out of my meditation and quiet time and study. And I titled this, "Are You Preparing for Success or Failure?" Are you preparing for success or failure? Because we're always, whether we're conscious of it or not, we're always preparing for something. It is in our human nature. There's always this perceived future that we have, and within this future, there is a preparation that we are maybe consciously or subconsciously preparing for. In other words, are we preparing for success or are we preparing for failure? Put it another way, are we preparing for an abundant future or are we preparing for a future that includes lack and scarcity, a future that includes disappointment, right? Anxiety and fear? Or are we preparing for a future that is filled with success, abundance? It is filled with fulfillment and happiness and joy, right? And so that was how I titled my post. And then I went on to say that in most cases, we don't get what we asked for, right? Because we're always in our heart, whether we verbalize it or not. There's always this ask. There's always this desire. That ask could be in the form of desire. That ask could be in the form of longing, what you long for. in different areas of your life, whether it be in your relationships, your love relationships, even in your hate relationships. There's always a longing for something that we want to achieve, whether it be in our professional life or our career or our job or our business, or it could be this longing for better health, better well-being, and then there's always this longing for more time, more free time, more time to do what we would like to do, more time to be with who we want to be with, more time to share our personal life with those whom we love, those who we hold dear to our heart. But a lot of times, because of our obligations and our responsibility, they get in the way of us being able to do those things that we want to do. So sometimes that longing comes in the form of longing for more time freedom. And then finally, which is a big one on most of people's plate that I know, and that is that longing or desire for more money freedom. In other words, having the resources, having the assets to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, right? Without having to go through the idea or the thought patterns that, there's not enough resources here. I can't do it because of a lack of resources. And so, again, in most cases, we don't get what we ask for. We don't get what we desire. We don't get what we long for, right? But we get what we are prepared for. And this really hit me like so deep in my soul this morning, because this whole idea that we're talking about, whether we're preparing for success or we're preparing for failure, is a reality that we have to deal with. It's part of life that we have to navigate. And a lot of this happens in our soulish realm, in the realm of our thoughts, in the realms of our feelings. In other words, it's this energy, right, that is inside of us, that is almost like it's a static energy, and this energy is waiting to be unleashed, right? And we are determining how this energy called life, how this energy gets to take form in our life. Does it take form in terms of and what's determining the form it takes, or the experiences that we're having, is how are we thinking? What are we preparing for? Do we see, and are we preparing for success in our future? Or are we in a contractive way of thinking, and thinking in a sense of failure, thinking in a way of lack, in a way of scarcity, in a way that we don't feel like we're going to be supported? This is the reality. This is where we live every day. This is what we wake up to every day, and we have to navigate. And so this morning, as I was again doing my success ritual, this idea came to me. And as I was thinking about it, what came to mind is this scenario that's in scripture, right? This scenario, this little story in scripture, that's in the book of John. And it's a situation where Jesus and his disciples and his mother all attended this wedding in Cana. And some of you who are Bible scholars may be familiar with the story. But if you're not familiar with the story, I'll just make it plain. It goes on to say, it's in the book of John, and it's in the second chapter. Stick with me here, right? This is not a religious oration. This is not a religious connotation here. This is a principle. This is something that's going to lead us to lead you to maybe an aha moment to help you to get unstuck from the use of this energy that's inside of us and using it or not using it or misusing it to self-sabotage our very own present moment and our very own future. And so it goes like this. It's in chapter 2, verse 1 and first in John, in the book of John. And it says, and on the third day, there was a marriage in Cana, Cana of Galilee. And the mother of Jesus was there. She was already there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. So they got an invitation to come to this marriage or come to the wedding, right? And when they wanted more wine, obviously, all of the wine got drank at this wedding, right? Obviously, there were some very thirsty people there. You guys been to events where a lot of people show up and the guest is providing free drinks and free food. And it appears that the guest didn't provide enough food or enough drink, because when you look, you see that, hey, we're running out of drinks, we're running out of food, right? And so here, that's what was happening at this marriage. And so it says, and when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, they have no wine. So she came to her son, she knew he was, this guy that had this influence, he knew how to take energy, right? And use energy in such a way to make provision, right? We call it miracles. And so they had no wine. And so she went to him and says, they have no wine. And Jesus made a response to his mother and said, woman, what do I have to do with thee? My hour has not come. And that's a prophetic word. And I won't get into that, right? But I want to get to the point that I'm trying to make about the fact that we don't get what we ask for, but we get what we prepare for, or what we are preparing for. What are we thinking? What are we thinking about our future? How are we in the present moment thinking about a future? Are we thinking about whether there's going to be enough, whether this idea is going to come to fruition, whether I'm going to have support, whether should I continue on the journey that I'm on? I have this desire in my heart. I have this thing that I know that will bless the world. I have this idea that I know that will bless my business or my family. Should I continue on this journey, or should I abandon it? Should I pull back? Should I give up? Should I throw in the towel? Right? And so here, his mother said unto the servants that was working the marriage event, she said to the servant, because she knew her son, she said, whatever or whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. Whatsoever he say unto you, do it. So here, Jesus represents infinite intelligence. Here, Jesus is just symbolic of everything that is available to all humanity. Everything that's available to you. That's what he represents. He represents this universal supply that is endless. And he also represents this friendly universe that we live in. that is just waiting and willing, right, to support us and support our full expression of ourselves, ready to support that idea that you have, that's ready to support that dream that you have, ready to support that which is good that you want to manifest in your life, right? So it's just symbolic. The name Jesus is symbolic of that, right? Symbolic of all good or all God or all love. It's just a symbol. It's not something to fight over. But we're the one made a religion out of it. But I'm after the principle. What is he really saying here? What is being really, shared with us in this dissertation? And so she said, whatsoever he said unto you, do it. So what is being shared with you in your personal life, in your professional life, day in and day out? What project, what idea, what dream, what is it that the universe is speaking to you? The spirit is speaking to you. Wisdom is speaking to you. Infinite intelligence is speaking to you to say, just do this. Just do this. And the universe will never ask us to do things that we are not capable of doing. It could be so simple that a lot of time we dismiss it. It could be so simple, right, that a lot of times we don't think that it is profound enough to make a difference. But I'm here to tell you that infinite intelligence is simplicity. It's not complicated. We're the ones that have complicated our lives. We're the one that has complicated life itself. But life is really simple. It's really simple. So she said, whatever my son says to you, just do it, because she had confidence in the wisdom and the spirit of wisdom that was operating in her son. She had already seen it at work. She already knew he was different. She already knew he was right. He operated in this aura. He operated in this, this positive energy. It's like sometimes you notice people that walk in that they can just walk in a room and it's like they demand, they carry this energy level with them. They carry this vibration with them that they can make things happen. That they see life from a different perspective. They see the end from the beginning. Sometimes we call them visionaries, or, they just people of influence. Well, all of us have access to that same energy. All of us have that energy. It's just a matter of knowing. It's a matter of how we're using the mind to design and to formulate and to direct that energy for good. It's just a matter of that. It's a matter of knowing. And so, and there was, and it goes on to say in verse 6, and said, and there were set there 6 water pots. 6 water pots of stone. See, very simple. There were 6 water pots that were sitting there made of stone, but they were empty. Right? They were empty. Didn't even have any water in them, let alone wine. After the manner of purifying of the Jews. In other words, the water was used for a purification ceremony, right? And now the pots sit there empty. And it says that these pots contain 2 or 3 firkins apiece, which means a firkins had to do with the amount. So these pots could hold up to 20 or 30 gallons, and it was 6 of them. 6 empty pots that could hold 20 or 30 gallons sitting there. And then it says that Jesus said unto the servants, fill the water pots with water. Notice now, fill the water pots with water. In other words, Jesus was already preparing to not only meet the need, but to meet the need abundantly. Right? That's what he was preparing for. And he gave those instructions to the servants, right? To prepare the pots, right? By filling them with water. They were given a certain simple instruction. And every day we awake up to life, that we awake to life. Life has given us a simple instruction. Do this. Do that. Go here. Go there. Make this phone call. Write this letter. Text this person. Forgive. Simple instructions, right? Let it go. Release them. Release the situation. Don't follow after revenge. Make this post. Make this video. Watch this video. Order this particular item. Listen to this particular person. Sit quietly. Consider shifting your diet. Consider shifting the way you're thinking. Just sit with this for a moment. Don't invest in that. Invest in this. Every day we wake up in this friendly universe. And we are hearing this inner voice. We get this inner sensation, or we have this hunch or this idea to do something or to not do something that is very simple, and we dismiss it. But this is the way the universe speaks to us, because the universe is attempting to work in concert with us to bring about the very thing that we desire, to bring about the very thing that we would love to do, that we would love to give, that we would love to share, to bring about the very thing that you would love to solve, that you would love to create, to bring about this experience that you would love to have. In other words, the universe is always prompting us towards achievement, towards success, towards the fulfillment of our ideas and our desires, our longings. Just through simple instruction, just through a simple command like fill these 6 water pots with water, because that's something that we can do. But, when the mind has given itself over to the idea of lack and scarcity, failure, fear, right? We don't even have the time to give, or the space in our mind to hear that still small voice that's sharing with us this little simple action or inaction that if we engage, we will see miracles in our life. We will see the fulfillment of the desires of our heart. And so as I was studying this morning, and in my own life, there are desires of my heart, there are ideas that I have that are so beyond what I can do in and of myself, right? But I am aware that I'm one with the source. I'm one with the intelligence, the know-how. I have access, and all of us do, to this infinite intelligence that is there to help us, right? Um, to help us to bring that desire into a lived experience in our life. So I'm aware of that, right? And so here you see, as these servants followed Jesus' instruction, it said that they filled all of the water pots with water, and they filled them up to the brim. Right? They filled them up to the brim. They didn't leave any room, right? Because they have received this insight from the Spirit of wisdom to fill these water pots, these 6 water pots, with water, and they filled them up to the brim, right? So they were preparing, right? They were preparing for a miracle. They were preparing for success. They were preparing for fulfillment. They were preparing for their business to be successful. They were preparing for their health and their well-being to be elevated, or to be restored, or to be healed. They were preparing to have more time freedom and more financial freedom in their life. They were preparing, right, to have relationships that with their children, or with their, immediate family, their spouses. They were preparing for long-term success. That's what it's symbolic of. So ask yourself the question: are you allowing external situations and circumstances and conditions to cause you to see lack and scarcity, to see no way that your desires can be fulfilled, and so you start taking actions not to succeed? You start taking actions, not to have the health and the well-being that you desire? Are you taking actions because you're listening to the maybe the wrong voice, for not to have a long-term relationship? Are you looking for a way out of your relationships? Are you saying to yourself there's that this a strange son or daughter will not return, right? Are you saying that the momentary disagreement that you're having will cause the relationship to fall completely apart? Are you preparing for, again, the business not to generate the revenue that is needed, right? Are you preparing to close down the whole and to tank the whole idea of you being independent, right? Are you giving up on the promotion? Or what are other areas? There's so many areas in our lives, right? Are you saying to yourself, oh, I'll never have the finances to be able to do this. I'll never have the finances to give this. I'll never have I'll never make enough money to be able to, take this trip, or to whatever the situation is in your life. What voice are you listening to? What are you preparing for? Because, like I stated in the post, and this has been my own experience, we get what we prepare for, not necessarily what we ask for. And then, some people think that, they use the scripture that says, ask and it shall be given. And they stop right there. All I got to do is ask and it shall be given. But there's two more parts to that scripture. First, it says, ask and it shall be given. Then it says, seek and ye shall find. That's part 2. And part 3 is, knock and it shall be open. So the seeking and the knocking is the preparation. That is the preparation. It says prepare, right? It says you have asked for this thing. You have asked for this business. You have asked for this career. You have asked for this promotion. You have asked for this relationship. You have asked for your body and your mind and your soul to be in harmony. You have asked for well-being. You asked to be healed from maybe a dysfunction or a dis-ease or a disease. You may have asked for more money and more time. You may ask for your idea to get support. Whatever you've asked for, whatever's in your heart, whatever desire is in your heart, and you've asked for it. That's just the first part. You recognize that this thing has been placed in me. And if the idea has been placed in you, it's been placed in you because it wants to come into fruition. It wants to come into reality. Because that thing that wants to come into reality through you, it wants to come to bless humanity. It's like the idea of a flying machine in the air, the airplane. Just like the idea of the incandescent light, just like the idea of a motor-driven vehicle called automobiles. All these were ideas or desires within the human heart that eventually these men and women prepared themselves. They seeked and they're knocked. That's the preparation. And it was because of the seeking and the knocking, the preparation. They got what they were prepared for. That's the way the universe works. That's the law of love. That's the law of seed time and harvest. That's the law of sowing and reaping. That's the law of giving and receiving. It is the universal law that runs everything and determines everything in life. It has always determined the results and the outcomes in your life, in my life, in everyone's life. That's the invisible law that's at work. And when we can elevate our understanding to understand that this is what's really determining what's happening in this world, what's happening in my life, what's happening in my relationship, in my business, in my health, in my time, in my money, in my finances. This is what's happening with my spirituality. This is what's happening to my service to humanity. This is what's determining the outcomes and the results. When we understand that and align ourselves with that and become intentional in our thinking, in our feeling, and in our actions, then we begin to see the things that we are prepared for. We'll begin to see, we'll begin to experience the things that we prepare, the things that we are prepared for and not necessarily asked for. It starts with the asking. It starts with the desire. But the seeking and the knocking has to do with us being open to hear the voice, the universal voice, the voice of reality, the voice of all the infinite intelligence that's been available to humanity to bring into this physical world everything that has been given unto us in creation in a formless state. And we are the vehicles. We are the conduit for which these things come into fruition. This is how your life flourishes. This is how your life is fulfilled through this simple, not complicated, but very simple process. And so you Bible scholars know how this story ends. It says that the servants filled the pots to the brim. They followed instruction, right? The mother said, do exactly what he says, right? And in most of our lives, if we would just do what we have been inspired to do, if we would just listen to our intuition, our inner wisdom that keeps giving us the same instruction over and over and over and over again, which is the solution, which is the answer to the thing that we desire. If we would just but do those instructions, it would make a huge difference in our life. It'll make a huge difference in your life. And so this story ended in a great way. It says that once the pots were filled to the brim, and he said unto them, Jesus said unto them, now, draw out now. Now that you have followed instructions, now, because of your instruction, the miracle has taken place. He says, draw out now. He said, because you have sown obedience and following the instructions, you shall reap right now. Draw out now. It says, draw out now and bear unto the governor of the feast, or give unto the man that's in charge of the wedding. Go share with the man of the wedding what's in the pot, because it's the person that was in charge of the wedding that was having to deal with the problem of having no more wine. But now here comes the solution, right? And a lot of times, right, we stumble into what we desire and we don't even understand the process. But here we can understand the process that has gone before, that's causing us to have this health, to have this wealth, to have this joy and this peace, to have this assignment, this business that is flourishing, or this career, or this promotion, or whatever it is. Right? Sometimes things happen in life, we don't know why they happen. We just know it's good, right? But at some point in our lives, guess what? Just like children, when children are small and they are learning, right? We make things happen for them. We make things happen for them. We provide for them, right? We take care of all of their provisions, all of their protection. We do all of these things for our kids. But there'll come a time that child, right, is going to be released on his own to make or to create, right, for themselves. And so if the child has not learned how things work, how life works, their ability to create, their ability, right, to impact and to influence, if they don't understand that process, their ability to produce, then a lot of time the child struggles in life because he has no understanding. And he's always coming back to mommy and daddy for provisions, right? Because he hadn't been taught how to provide for himself. He hadn't been taught how to fish for himself. So in this lesson, this is a lesson for all of us, right? To help elevate our understanding of how things work in this universe and how we can take our life and decide for our life, discover for our life based on our desires, based on our longings, and be intentional about our life. That we can decide for a present and a future that we will experience. We can prepare for the present and the future that we can experience and will experience, because we're going to get what we prepare for, not necessarily what we ask for. Right? And we can design that future. Right? We call it here at All Things Truly, we call it vision, having a vision for your life, having an insight into your future. Is that insight, is the insight that we have about a future, is it fulfilling? Is it successful? Is it abundant? Or are we beholding to an insight that has its roots in fear and lack and scarcity? In a poor self-image? What are we seeing? We're determining that. We get to choose. That's the great news. We get to choose. We get to choose what we prepare for. Right? We get to choose what we'll prepare for. And no one can take that freedom away from you. No one can take that freedom away from me. So discovering what you love, deciding for what you love, and then designing that vision by being very specific about it. And then being open for the simple instructions that we get on a daily basis. To do those simple things, do the things that we can do. The universe will never ask you to do things that is outside of the realm of what you can do. And a lot of time we look at our lives and we think that, we don't have a lot. We don't possess a lot. But we have way more. We have way more. We always have way more than we think we have. Because we overlook the simple things, like the 6 water pots that are empty. We overlook our gifts and our talents. We overlook the promises that's already been given unto us. We overlook the blessings that have already been bestowed upon us, because the blessings of God, the blessings of love, the blessings of the universe has been given to all of us equally and freely. So, when the man in charge at the wedding, it says in verse 9, when the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made unto wine. See, the universe wants to make your life into a supernatural life. The universe wants to make your life the expression that is so far beyond what you are capable of doing and being. Because there is an endless expression in all of us that is miraculous in nature. But when we suppress that idea in our thinking, in our feelings, in our emotions, in our ideas, when we suppress them, when we believe more in the false idea of who we are not, right? Versus the reality of who we are as the perfect creation of love, and that all things are possible to us. All things have been given to us. That you are deserving of all the good in life. Yes, you are. You are deserving of all the good in life. when we embrace these realities and make them our very own and begin to cultivate the skill of listening to our intuitive self, our inner self, that inner voice, that universal voice, that voice that speaks for love, or the voice that speaks for God that's inside of all of us, that is there to remind all of us to fill the 6 water pots, to fill them to the brim. Simple instructions, something we can do. Make the phone call. Send that text. Arrive to work early. Stay a little later. Do the extra work. Get proper rest. Spend time reading. And not just reading, but spend time reading inspired writing. Don't fill our eye gates with just dark entertainment, but fill our eye gates with that which can help us, that which can serve us, that which promotes life. The simple things. Forgive that person. Let go of that situation. It's not worth pursuing. It's not worth trying to get revenge. Don't depend on the government. Don't structure your life where you're going to depend on the government. No. Receive what you have, what you've earned, but don't build your life on government dependence. Make that video. The simple things in life, the things that we can do. Spend time with those you love. And it may be, the simple instruction may be, quit trying to force the relationship. Step away. Give people room to have a change of heart. They can't have a change of heart if we're always breathing down them, trying to insist that they be a certain way, that they do a certain thing. These are simple instructions that we can do. And so when the ruler of the feast had tasted the water and that was made into wine, when you taste the happiness, the joy, the fulfillment, and the peace that you so desire, when you taste it, it says, and he knew not from whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew from whence it was. It was from their preparation. It wasn't just from their asking, but it was from the preparation. It was from the preparation. His mother asked, but she took the next step and told the servants, do exactly what he says. It was the preparation. It was the seeking and the knocking. It was the persistence that brought about the water that was turned into wine. And it will be the persistence in your life, my life, that will bring about the fulfillment, the joy, and the happiness that you so desire in whatever area it may be, What is it that you desire? You have to know. What is it that you love? You have to know. Is it health? Is it well-being? Is it personal or professional relationships? What is it that you desire in your career? What is it that you desire as far as time? How much time do you desire? What do you desire where finances are concerned, assets are concerned? You have to know exactly what that is in order to work with, right? Work with the universe to bring about that wine. Wine is representative of the fulfillment, right? It's representative of the promise that we've all been promised. And so it says, the governor of the feast called unto the bridegroom and said unto him, every man at the beginning does set forth good wine. And when men have well drunk, then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. And the good wine represents your fulfillment, your achievement, because it is through achievements and fulfillment that we gain confidence. It is through fulfillment and achievement that we become totally convinced that indeed we live in a friendly universe, that we indeed are worthy of all the good that's in life, that we are indeed the perfect creations of love. And so that's the mental makeover session for today that I wanted to share, that came straight out of my quiet time this morning. And I hope that this time together has helped encourage you. It's encouraging me just by sharing it with you, because again, there's areas in all of our lives where we feel like we're losing hope, or we feel as though life is not for us, but it's against us, that everything is and everyone is working against us. Sometimes it feels that way. But feelings are fleeting. We want to focus more on what reality is. And the reality is, all things have been given unto us richly to enjoy. But it happens in a certain way, and we have to learn that way. We have to be open to the understanding of how life works. Everything works in a certain way. And this is just a demonstration, right? We can take this story of the wedding at Cana and learn so much from this story so that we can course correct in our own life, so that we can realign our thinking, remind ourselves of who we are, and in the environment that we're in the universe that we're in the support that we have, and the unlimited possibilities that is available to all of us. You can't get caught up in what's happened in the past. You can't get caught up in history. You can't get caught up in what may be happening next door with your neighbor, or if that becomes your source of whether you prepare for success or failure, then you'll always prepare for failure. You'll always prepare for lack, scarcity. You have to look beyond what's going on in the natural. We have to look beyond what's going on in the economy. A lot of people are afraid right now because there's this scarcity mentality that's being unleashed among the population, and people are in a state of being stuck because they feel like I can't, it's the economy is this, or the government is this, our politics are this is happening, that is happening, and we're using that information to make our decisions, to make our preparation. So a lot of us are preparing for lack and scarcity. Why? Because that's the voice that's being echoed out right now. There's a fear-based voice that's being echoed in the land. And a lot of us are taking that voice, and it's causing us to not prepare for success, not to prepare for our best, and to remain stuck and to remain in our comfort zones, right? And you already know that don't get you anything close to what you desire. Fill up the pots. Follow your intuition. Do the thing that you have been instructed to do over and over and over again. And it's so simple. Some of it just as simple as forgive. And we won't forgive. We want to hold on to the grievance. We want revenge. We want to make someone hurt. That's one of the biggest. That is one of the biggest blocks that keep us from preparing for success, because we're holding on to some past event or activity, right, that made us feel like we were unfairly treated, not knowing that one thing has the capacity to be the solution to every challenge in your life. So I'm going to stop there. I've been at this for a few minutes. But I feel good because what? I did what I felt the intuition was telling me to do. He said, share this. Share this. Because a lot of people are struggling. They are struggling. People are struggling. And we don't have to struggle. But like the scripture says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. In other words, we struggle needlessly because we don't understand the simplicity of life. We don't understand the simplicity of life. We have bought into the complication. We have bought into the competition, right? We have bought into this competitive mindset versus cultivating the creative mindset that we all have. So anyway, that's our mental makeover for today. Hopefully you have been blessed, and hopefully you have allowed this truth to unlock and to fill the 6 water pots in your life, so that the water, the simple things that you were able to do, is turned into great things. It's turned into wine. It's turned into your happiness, your fulfillment, your joy, your peace, your ability to be fully expressed in the world. And there you have it, my friend. And I hope to see you on the inside. Have a great day. Bye-bye.